UAE rip up the form book. Brazil getting us underway with the yellow shirts and blue shorts. And a shot straight away coming in from Antonio. Didn't feature yesterday against Portugal, the 22-year-old. It's well kept in the corner by Ali Mohammed. Hussein Butty trying to get in the mix as well, the number 11. It's going to be a corner. You can see that Brazil have started off in goal today with Rafa Padilla. First start for him in the tournament. Illustration of the fact that Gilberto da Costa de Souza just wants to test his bench strength a little bit. He's got the luxury of being able to do that, knowing that 2 wins out of 2 have guaranteed his side a place in the semi-finals, and indeed topping the group no matter what happens in this match. Remarkable 2017 for Brazil, as I've mentioned already.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. How's everybody doing?
I've got to give Gilberto da Costa de Souza an awful lot of credit for it. Shot on the turn, is it in? Yes, it is! Butty sets it up, and Haitham Mohammed gets the goal. So the UAE score. They only ever scored 4 goals in 3 matches against Brazil in this tournament prior to that. Butty getting away from Bruno Xavier, able to get the ball across goal. And, well, Haitham Mohammed couldn't miss from there, could he? Joy on the sidelines. Enjoying the stands for the UAE fans as well. Now, is that just giving the Tigers' tail a tweak, I wonder? Are Brazil going to switch on? Yes, they are. And it's Bruno Xavier. Well, I said, is it giving the Tigers' tail a tweak? Indeed it is. And they're very happy about it, aren't they? Almost straight from the restart, it's 1 apiece. Bruno Xavier, his 32nd goal in the history of this tournament. Morosinho to Burkina. Bruno Xavier. Well, he got past a very insubstantial challenge from Walid Bashir there, didn't he? And, well, the UAE's lead, to say it was short-lived is an understatement, just 2 seconds in fact.
Juggling contest. Anyone? If you can juggle the ball, stand up.
Oh, a yellow card administered by the referee.
Like a student.
For encroachment, I think.
Teacher, pick me, please. I'll be there in a bit. I'll pick you up, guys. I'm going to select 4 jugglers for this game. Even the VIP section.
So, a Brazilian booking.
If you can juggle the ball, raise your hands up. Okay.
Morosinho, I think, is the man who's gone into the notebook. Off we go again. And that's a very wayward shot indeed from Walid Bashir, who missed that tackle on Bruno Xavier a moment ago to allow Brazil to score their equaliser.
We're good, we're good. We're fine.
I'll give a lot of credit to Gilberto da Costa de Souza for Brazil's run of form at the moment, and particularly their ability to regain the world crown for the first time since 2009 when they won it here in Dubai. I've often thought, watching Brazil in subsequent years, that even though they've comfortably got more talent than any other team around the world, players sometimes have had a weight of expectation. It's been the weight of the world on their shoulders whenever Brazil turn out to play in beach soccer. The belief is that they should whitewash and wipe the floor with the opposition. It doesn't always happen like that, of course. The players have looked at times as though they've been under pressure over the years. But Gilberto da Costa de Souza seems to have got these players playing with a real joie de vivre, real smile on their faces. They're enjoying being the best side in the world rather than feeling it as a burden. All credit to the coach for that.
Oh, look at that.
Bruno Xavier flicks forward towards Morosino. He's looking for the overhead, he doesn't get it, and Butty gets it back. Sorry, Walid Bashir gets it back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Mentioned it was Bruno Xavier's third goal of the tournament. Rodrigo, 32 for him in his career in the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. That leaves him second only to Dejan Stankovic, the Swiss bomber, in terms of most goals in the history of this event. Stankovic with 37.
Okay, let me see your hands up once again if you can juggle the ball.
Mohamed Al Jasmi with a shot to his opposite number.
Can you juggle the ball? You can juggle the ball? Juggle it with your head, knees or foot.
Lukau gives the ball away, and Butty with the shot. Speculative effort, and it was always climbing. Lukau, he was looking for the spectacular overhead. Didn't get the contact that he wanted. Bowled long by Al Jasmi.
If you can't juggle the ball, all right.
Fernando Dede, who made his 100th appearance for Brazil yesterday and marked that with a goal. Really nice headed goal it was too. Fernando Dede actually in the second edition of this tournament, back in 2012, he was the top scorer with 10 goals. First two editions were won by Russia. Iran won the third edition in 2013. Brazil then won it for the first time in 2014, and here goes Rodrigo. Russia regained their crown in 2015 when Brazil opted not to play. And then in 2016, Brazil won it for a second time. Rodrigo, driven wide, gets the ball across the face of goal, just beyond Lukau. Manages to keep the ball in play though, does well. Lukau opts for a kick in. Players allowed to kick the ball in or throw it in. Once they decide on one or the other, they must stick to their decision. Really good atmosphere here this evening. That atmosphere is only going to build. Oh, good shot and a great save. Tremendous hit from Walid Bashir. And Rafa Padilla tipping it over his crossbar. That was a top stop from the 24-year-old. Made his debut for the national side in 2015. Rodrigo across the face of goal, easy as you like. Lucas. He got 2 goals against Egypt, and now he's on the board against the UAE. Al Jasmi wasn't at home, and Lucas had, well, the simplest of tap-ins, didn't he? Al Jasmi had come out to try and get the loose ball, but he never got anywhere near it. It was Rodrigo who fashioned the opportunity. He's been a constant thorn in the sides of all teams so far in this tournament that Brazil have come up against. Rodrigo with 5 goals so far and looking to add to his tally, but he was goal provider on that occasion. And Lucas now with number 3 for him in the tournament. Didn't play yesterday against Portugal. Good save. Walid Mohammadi, captain for the evening, with the shot, pushed over the crossbar by Rafa Padilla. Oh, and from the corner, the UAE can break, and that's got to be, that's got to be at least a yellow card, you would say. Yeah, and Walid Mohammadi knows it. He was pulling back Bruno Xavier, and if Bruno Xavier had been maybe, well, a couple of meters further on, that could actually have been a red card.
Okay, looking for 2 players. Super check on the ball. Hey, happy Flag Day, UAE. If you get some flags, push it over the sky.
So, free kick to Brazil, and it's danger as far as the UAE are concerned with Bruno Xavier from this sort of range. He's about 14 meters from goal in a pretty central position, and well, I wouldn't fancy being Mohamed Al Jasmi in this situation. Right-footed, Bruno Xavier scores. You could almost script it, couldn't you? That's what the very best players do in this sport from that sort of range. They find the back of the net. That was why I said before the ball was struck that I wouldn't want to be Al Jasmi, because Al Jasmi's only task in that sort of situation invariably is to be pulling the ball out of the back of his net.
I need someone who's good at judging.
Third goal for, the fourth goal for Bruno Xavier in the tournament. A brace for him now today. And that takes him up to 33 in the history of the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. Morosino. Bokina. Bruno Xavier then on a hat-trick. Down he goes under challenge, no free kick given. Haytham El-Muntasir. He's then fouled by Bokina, but Bruno Xavier making the point, what about the foul on me, he said. It wasn't given. Bokina absolutely stunned that the decision's gone against him. El-Muntasir going down and the free kick given. So the free kick is just fractionally inside the UAE half. What that means is that players are allowed to be goal side of the ball. Driven in and a good save. Comfortable height for the goalkeeper, but it was still hit with real power by Haytham El-Muntasir. Corner for the UAE. Ali Karim will take it, drives it in at the near post. Morosino gets the block in and then completes the clearance. Oh, good save in the end. Good stop from Al Jasmi. Saw it later, rather fancy, but it might well have crept in at his inside his post if he hadn't made the interception. Morosino. Reminder, one more match to come. Iran against Russia. Whoever wins that match avoids playing Brazil in the semi-finals. It'll be something that both those teams will be keen to do. Trying to be a little bit too cute, Walid Mohammadi. Still wins the dead ball situation though, and Ali Karim has the opportunity to get the ball back in play. Ali Karim up against Antonio. Nice from Walid Bashir. Oh yes! Very nice from Walid Bashir. And at the back post, his older brother Ahmed Bashir. It was a really good run from Walid Bashir, sending the ball across the face of goal. Instinctively knew where to put the ball. And he put it on a plate for Ahmed Bashir there. Very good finish from close range, despite the attentions of Rafa Padilla. UAE back to within a goal. 3-2 Brazil lead. Came off Ali Karim's back, so it's going to be a corner to Brazil. Rodrigo Rodrigo will take it. Just overcooks his pass to Fernando Dede. Lukau. Walid Bashir policing him. It's good defending from the number 4. He's defending a little earlier, left a bit to be desired up against Bruno Xavier in the first minute, but that was excellent defensive work from the UAE player. Well, it's a good turn by Walid Mohammadi. Very good turn and across the face of goal. In a couple of centimetres of bringing his side back on level terms. Fernando Dede, yes! Just wrong footing Al Jasmi. First of all, he won possession. It was a 50-50 ball against Ahmed Bashir. Fernando Dede secured possession. And then Al Jasmi had gone one way. And the ball went the other. Maybe, just maybe, it deflected off the back. This will be a good indicator. No, it didn't. He was just unsighted, was Al Jasmi. I thought it may have deflected off the back of Walid Bashir, but it didn't. So Fernando Dede on the score sheet for the second time in this tournament. In 2017, it's 4-2 to Brazil. Was that a handball? It's the referee given here. They're saying it's in the area, the UAE players. And the referee is saying, no, it's not. Let's have a look at what happened here again. He didn't actually touch his hand from what I can see there. It was close, it was very close, but well, amazing really, isn't it? The last match we saw, Portugal against Egypt, there seemed to be any number of balls striking players' hands where handball wasn't given, but now handball has been given, and that replay suggested the ball didn't touch the hand. Anyway, on we go. Walid Bashir will have a free kick from just fractionally outside the penalty area. Goes for power. Good save from Rafa Padilla. UAE feeling a little hard done by, thinking that should have been a penalty, thinking the offence was inside the area. But if they'd just seen the replay I've seen, they'd wonder whether there was handball at all. Good save. Tremendous strike from Ahmed Bashir. Rafa Padilla would have seen it late, and he pushed it over the crossbar inside the last 2 minutes of the first period. Great entertainment already this match. It hasn't been one-way traffic, that's for sure. But the one thing you have to say always when you watch Brazil is sides really have to work extremely hard to stay with them. And the effort of staying with them, particularly in the first couple of periods, can take its toll later on. Brazil can run away with matches, as indeed they did on the first day of this tournament against Egypt. They were 4-3 up after the first 2 periods, and then they got 7 goals unanswered in period number 3. There's a referee giving a talking to Ahmed Bashir. Not quite sure what the issue was there, but it's been resolved. Oh, well kept in, Ahmed Bashir. Cross pitch ball from his brother Walid. What's the referee given here? Given a free kick against the UAE number 3. Down by the corner flag. What's Rodrigo going to do here, I wonder? Just about as far from Mohamed Al Jasmi's goal as you can possibly be here. Still goes for the shot, and it wasn't a bad one either, was it? Oh, goodness me. Ahmed Bashir under real pressure there, but he's done very well to retain possession. But, unfortunately, from his point of view, he had the ball inside the penalty area for 4 seconds. And that basis, there's got to be a free kick on the halfway line to Brazil. It's all part of keeping the game moving. You can't have the ball inside your penalty area for more than 4 seconds. If you do, you're penalised.
Put your hands up, people. Let's have a good time. It's UAE flag day, come on.
So free kick to Brazil, and Lucao, captain for the evening, will take it. Up against Al Jazmi. And he scores. Oh yes, that's tremendous. That was with the inside of his right foot, and yet he hit it like an absolute bullet. Goodness me, it was hit so hard, and there was no chance at all, no time for Al Jazmi to react. So if you make a mistake against Brazil and you concede a free kick, particularly from that sort of range, invariably you'll pay for it. It's Lucao's first goal of this UAE Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup 2017. Lucao made his debut for the national team in 2014. Actually played this year for the Russian beach soccer domestic champions, Lokomotiv Moscow. Russia, one of the strongest domestic leagues. So that's the end of the first 12 minutes, and what a terrific first 12 minutes it's been. 7 goals, bucket loads of entertainment, goals for the UAE from Haitham Mohamed. They actually took the lead, and Ahmed Bashir, it was a wonderful effort from him. But Brazil, well, Bruno Xavier with 2, Lucas, Fernando Dede and Lucao, they're in complete control at the moment. Let's have a look at the action in that first period. Here's the opener from Haitham Mohamed. Couldn't really miss from there. Butty doing the spade work and getting the crossover, but straight from the restart, rather weak challenge from Walid Bashir, and Bruno Xavier needs no second invitation in that sort of situation. 1-1. And Rodrigo set up Lucas on a plate.
Are you guys ready?
Bruno Xavier made it 3-1 with his second.
VIP section, are you guys ready?
Ahmed Bashir latching onto that cross-pitch ball by Walid Bashir to make it 3-2. But then Fernando Dede wrong-footing the unsighted Al Jazmi. And then Lucao making it 5-2, and that's all within the first 12 minutes of action. The UAE 2, Brazil 5.
By the way, this guy, it's his birthday today. Yeah. Congratulations. What's your name? What's your name? This is your prize. How do you feel? That wasn't supposed to ask. How do you feel now?
Oh, I was pretty nervous, but happy with the win.
Okay, and today is your birthday, right?
That's right.
What do you want to tell all the people watching here and all the VIPs also watching for you today?
Hey guys, what a lovely weekend out here watching the footy. Hey, couldn't ask for more.
Hey, it's his birthday. What you guys want to say? 1, 2, 3. See, that's what I'm saying. It's called the UAE love. Thank you guys. We're gonna be back later. Okay.
in this penultimate match on day 3 of the UAE Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. And straight away, Rafa Padilla makes a good save from Ahmed Bashir. The UAE have it all to do. They're 5-2 down. Brazil's goals, 2 from Bruno Xavier, Lucas, Fernando Dede and Lucao. The UAE actually took the lead through Haitham Mohamed, also scoring through Ahmed Bashir. Walid Mohammadi, that effort well and truly off target. Brazil, a reminder, 44 games before this, unbeaten. It's a remarkable run. It's included 2017 FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup finals in the Bahamas. They've won this tournament twice. 2014 and 2016, changing goal for the UAE. Who made Jamal, keeping goal now. Replacing Mohamed Al Jazmi, who had a little bit of a torrid time in that first period. It's almost inevitable you'll get a torrid time actually when you're up against Brazil, when you think about it. They're just goal machines. 157 goals they've now scored in the history of this tournament. Only Russia have scored more. Russia have scored 170. Includes the 2 they scored last night in that very narrow win that they secured against Paraguay, 2-1. UAE have 103 goals. UAE and Russia, the only 2 ever presents in this tournament. This is the 7th edition. There's a Brazilian player down. Antonio, he was indicating he got a little bit of a stray arm from Walid Bashir. He's okay now though. It's going to be a drop ball on the halfway line as a result of that. And very sportingly, Brazil give the ball back to the UAE. Didn't always see that today, of course. The first match of the day, an uncontested drop ball. That was Paraguay and Mexico. Paraguay were pretty upset that Mexico had played on when one of their players was down. So when there was an uncontested drop ball, Paraguay decided to take the ball on themselves and have a shot. That was Luis Ojeda. Been great entertainment today, hasn't it? If you've been watching the whole day. If you haven't, where have you been? Paraguay 5, Mexico 4 in our opening game, and then Egypt and Portugal playing at an absolute classic. The best game of the tournament so far. 6-6 it finished after extra time, and then Portugal winning 3-2 on penalties to go through to the semi-finals. Good save, who made Jamal, but the follow-up is blasted home by Morosino. It was awkward for the goalkeeper because he was diving against the post. He still managed to make that initial stop, but Morosino was the first to react. It was Rodrigo with the overhead, and then Morosino didn't pause for breath. First time Jamal simply couldn't get up in time to effect the save. Frustration for him, and a 6th goal for Brazil. It's actually Morosino's first goal of the tournament. And it illustrates really one of the problems that opponents have against Brazil, because he's actually the 8th separate scorer for Brazil in this tournament so far. 8 different scorers. They've got goals all over the pitch, basically. There are some teams, you know, well, if you can shut down a certain player or a couple of players, then you go a long way towards winning a match. But when you've got players like Rodrigo who take chances like that, then goodness only knows how you stop Brazil. Rodrigo on the mark again then. He got a hat-trick on day one against Egypt. He got 2 yesterday against Portugal, and now he's got the taste for goals once more. That's number 6 for him in this tournament. Only Jordan Santos is ahead of him now. He's scored 7 so far, Jordan Santos. Just a snapshot from Rodrigo, and no chance at all for Humed Jamal. Now, the UAE need to be careful here, because things could quite easily go belly up in a big way. If Brazil are feeling, well, like they want to twist the knife, you rather fancy they can. Just a reminder that 12 months ago these two sides met. It was a very painful experience for the UAE. It was a group stage match. Nando today with a shot, and Brazil won that one 11-1. That's actually the biggest margin of victory for a side in the history of the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup, which dates back to 2012. I wouldn't bet against Brazil doing something similar at the moment. They just look capable of moving through the gears almost at will. So UAE have got to keep their heads up here. If they allow their heads to drop and allow their work to slacken, and Brazil are quite capable of well, getting any sort of score here. Shot from Ali Mohammed. Lucas back to his keeper, Rafa Padilla. He wants to get on the score sheet, does he? Now, who's got that one? Is it Rafa Padilla or is it Lucao? Goalkeeper's given it to, or rather the referee's given it to Lucao. Lucao got the final touch. Goodness me. This could get very painful indeed for the UAE. We're not even halfway through this match. 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining of the second period. And already it's 8-2. Lucao celebrates. There's nothing again that Humed Jamal could really do. There are a couple of players ahead of him. This is a favourite camera for the Brazilian boys. They always seem to want to run to this end and give a message or celebrate or come up with a particular dance. So 10 goals already in this match. I rather fancy if this was a boxing contest, the referee would have well, waved his arms and said, go back to the dressing room to the UAE. But that's not going to happen. And what we've got is the prospect of watching some outstanding artists. The Brazilians do what they do best. Bati, good run from him. Tackled though by Lucas. Rodrigo was just off balance there. He was trying to take it on his chest. It was an awkward height for him. Just a little bit too low to head and too high to get his feet to. I mentioned earlier that Gilberto da Costa da Souza has got this Brazilian side playing with a real smile on their faces. And he's also got them playing with a great deal of hunger. I suppose you can do that when you're in a position where you can really select probably 3 top sides that will be ultra competitive around the world. Brazil have got an absolute plethora of top players. Just saw Abbas Ali up in the stands, and in some ways perhaps he'll feel He's benefited from missing out on this. Crowd building all the time. Spectators moving into the stands behind Rafa Padilla's goal for the first time in this tournament. Rodrigo with the free kick, fisted away by Umaid Jamal. Good strong hands from him, concedes the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not far away from capacity by the time we get to the last match. Iran and Russia. Oh, across the face of goal by Bruno Xavier, and that was a very good block in the end by Ali Karim. He stretched for it. He might even have been kicked by his own goalkeeper, Umaid Jamal, who was trying to effect a block as well. Let's have another look at it here. Yes, Umaid Jamal might well have collided with Ali Karim. But he's okay again now. There's the veteran UAE player. Spectacular from Bokina, but not on target. Nice skill from Ali Karim. One of only 2 players, along with Yuri Krasheninnikov, who scored in all 7 editions of this Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. Morasinho with the cute little chest. Bokina, Morasinho, oh! That would have been a picture book goal, wouldn't it? Juggling between himself, Bokina, and Bruno Xavier. In the end, couldn't direct the effort goalwards. Bokina. It's another effort wide of the target. Chances are coming for Brazil. You feel it's only going to be a matter of time before they start taking them again. Just less than 4 minutes to go in the second period. Bruno Xavier penalised for that challenge. Bone-on-bone contact. Ali Mohammed, the man going down. Remember the first edition of this tournament, way back in 2011. Saw a couple of players break bones in their feet as a result of that sort of challenge. Dragged across the face of the goal by Ali Mohammed. Bokina. Oh yes! Rafa Padilla. Lovely strike from him. He got a goal in the Mundialito earlier this year, the 4-team tournament in Portugal. And he's on the mark here. And that's 9 now for Brazil. Umaid Jamal flying across his goal, but he couldn't save that one. He was a little bit unsighted. And that's the first goal by a goalkeeper in this year's UAE Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. It's by no means unheard of for goalkeepers to score. Good save from Padilla. He's taken the plaudits for the goal. Now he takes the plaudits for that good stop. Volley from Haitham Mohammed, wide of the target. Good save initially from Umaid Jamal, and in the end gets up and gets across his goal, and now he's down. I'm not sure why. ball may have caught him in a very awkward place, actually, when he made that initial stop. And then Lucau's follow-up effort was wide. Rodrigo with the shot. And that was the problem. Actually, it wasn't that the ball hit him in the stomach, it was that he collided with the post in trying to get across his goal. Hopefully he's okay.
All right, back to the ball game now. 2:34 left. Fans of UAE, make some noise, people. How about Brazilians in the house? Where you at?
Plenty of time left in this match for Brazil to set some records here. Most goals scored in a single match by a team in the history of the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup, as Rodrigo takes that on the body, concedes the corner. 3 times it's happened that a team has scored 11 goals. Russia did that against Switzerland in the semi-final of the 2013 edition. That was a classic match. It was Russia 11, Switzerland 10, one of the best matches I think I've ever seen. Went to extra time. And Brazil beat Egypt 11-3 earlier in this edition. And Brazil, of course, beat the UAE, as I mentioned earlier, 11-1 12 months ago. So that's been the most goals scored by a team in any match in the tournament. As I say, plenty of time for Brazil to better that mark. And they're on the way to doing it, aren't they? Double figures for them now. Lucas, 10-2. So 2 for Lucas, and the goal fest continues. Simple as you like, almost passed the ball into the opposite corner. Frustration for Humaid Jamal. He's conceded 5 now, as did his teammate Mohamed Al-Jasmi in the first period. So Lucas now 4 goals in the tournament for him. The referee given here, he's given a free kick for Lucas's challenge on Walid Bashir, just fractionally outside the penalty area. Clattering into the UAE number 4. He was late there. The referee didn't like it, not one little bit. Wasn't a million miles away from being a penalty, actually. Just fractionally outside the area, and only fractionally. So treatment being administered. A reminder that coming up next, it's Iran against Russia. The last match of the group stages. One to look forward to, because the winner of that one will top the group and therefore avoid playing Brazil in the semi-finals, which and the evidence of what we've seen in this tournament so far, and indeed the evidence of 2017, is well, it would be a pretty sensible option, that. Well, I said it was a free kick, but in fact it is a penalty, so it was deemed to be just inside the area. So Walid Bashir has the opportunity to, well, just take a little bit of the sting out of the scoreline, and only a little bit, it has to be said. He's up against Rafa Padilla, and he scores. He's still in a little bit of pain, but He's able to get up and score that penalty, and no celebrations, as you might expect, given the nature of the scoreline. Just going straight down the middle. Rafa Padilla dived, and Walid Bashir ended up securing the goal. That's his first goal of the tournament. He got 7 in this tournament 2 years ago when he was the UAE's top scorer. Spent the summer playing for Schiphol in Hungary, playing beach soccer there. 7 of this squad actually. The UAE squad went and played their beach soccer in Hungary during the course of the summer. Very sensible option with temperatures getting up well in excess of 50 degrees here during the summer months. As for conditions down on the pitch at the moment, breeze, there was a breeze actually when play started today at 4:15 local time, but that breeze has dropped off completely now. The flags are absolutely limp on the stand opposite where our camera is, and there's a little bit of afters there from Walid Mohammadi and Rodrigo. Frustration, I think, from Walid Mohammadi. You can understand it given the way his side's copping an absolute thrashing here. A masterclass from Brazil. The referee just having a word with the two players, and understandably Fernando Dede is getting involved as well, and that's fair enough. And eventually is Rodrigo and Walid Mohammadi going to make their peace? Yes, they are. That's good to see. Fair enough too. At the end of it all, Rodrigo has a throw. He's being called back towards the centre. Fernando Dede goes back to Rafa Padilla. Inside the last 10 seconds then of this second period. And well, a masterclass from Brazil with more to follow. 2 for Lucas, 2 for Lucao, 2 for Bruno Xavier. Fernando Dede has been on the mark as well, as has Rodrigo, Moracinho, Rafa Padilla. The UAE's goals, Haitham Mohamed, Ahmed Bashir, Walid Bashir with a penalty. But, well, Brazil look absolutely superb thus far, and they lead by 10 goals to 3. Let's have a look at some highlights. But before we do, that was the incident that ended the second period. Walid Mohammadi absolutely convinced that Rodrigo was late, and the referee having to intervene. 10-3 then. Here's some highlights. 5-2, remember it was, at the end of period number 1. Moracinho scoring with a tap-in for 6-2. Rodrigo with a snapshot for 7-2. Umaid Jamal had taken over in goal from Mohamed Al Jazmi for the second period, and well, we would have been regretting that decision probably. Nice little cute back heel from Lucao for his second and Brazil's 8th. That wasn't even halfway through the second period. And Rafa Padilla, he thought he'd get on the score sheet. What a finish that was from the goalkeeper. That was 9-2. Getting a rare opportunity in goal ahead of Mao today and taking it. And then Lucas passing the ball into the opposite corner for 10-2 before Walid Bashir, who was fouled, picked himself up for the penalty, scored it. But, well, that really was bows and arrows against the lightning, you would say. The UAE 3, Brazil 10.
Okay, who wants a shout out? Who wants a shout out? Anybody out there? You want to greet your friends or what? Okay, write on a piece of paper. Give it to me. I'm gonna greet you guys out. All right, that's what you do. If you want us to shout out, piece of paper, and then bring it here. I'm gonna greet you guys all.
Off we go then, with the third and final period of our penultimate match of the day. Brazil, the world champions, giving us a masterclass at the moment. They lead by 10 goals to 3, and it'll be interesting to see whether they want any more. I fancy if they do, they can get them. Changing goal for the UAE. They're like a boxer being spared further punishment. The UAE opting to rotate their keepers around. Both keepers so far have conceded 5 apiece. Mohamed Al Jasmi in the first period, Humaid Jamal in the second. So Mohamed Al Jasmi back in the firing line now for period number 3. Bokina overcooks that pass for Rodrigo. Walid Bashir scored that penalty just before the end of period number 2, and indeed set up his brother Ahmed Bashir. That was for the UAE's second goal. Jamal Muntasir. It's a nice cushioned effort from Bruno Xavier to Rodrigo, and Rodrigo scores. Another goal for him. Goodness me, he can't stop scoring in this tournament, can he? That's number 7 for him now, and 11 for Brazil. Only in the second minute of this third and final period, and already Brazil carrying on where they left off. A little bit of a dance from him. Fair enough too. 7 now for the tournament for him. Level with Jordan Santos of Portugal. And more to follow, I'm sure. So that's 11 for Brazil. Good save from Mohamed Al Jasmi. They look hungry for more, don't they, Brazil? They don't look as though they've had enough by any stretch of the imagination. Muntasir with the throw, but well gathered by Rafa Padilla. Bokina, oh, he's got away from the defender, gets the cross over. It's just cleared Rodrigo, though, who's after another hat-trick, isn't he? Caballo, that was against Mexico. 4 hat-tricks in the tournament in total, and that's a nasty coming together between Bruno Xavier and Walid Bashir. Bashir still in a bit of difficulty. Walid Bashir is going to get the free kick. It's Flag Day, by the way, here in the UAE today, 2nd of November, Flag Day. So that's why you'll see a lot of people like that young lad with a flag in the stands. It's going to be a free kick, in fact, in the end to Brazil. And again, danger as far as the UAE are concerned here. Bruno Xavier, just fractionally inside his own half. But that sort of distance doesn't really matter to him. He's about 19 or 20 metres away from Humaid Jamal's goal and scores. That's a record for Brazil. First time in the history of the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup that any side has scored 12 times in a single match. Bruno Xavier is the man who brings up that particular landmark. Frustration for Humaid Jamal. Let's have a look at it from this angle. Humaid Jamal was anticipating the ball bouncing. It didn't. Not in the way that he expected anyway, and it just bobbled past him. That's why you keep your shots low in beach soccer. And a good save by Rafa Padilla from the restart. Walid Mohammadi denied. So a record for Brazil, 12-3, 15 goals in this match already. So Brazil achieving something special here, going past the mark of Russia when they won 11-10 against Switzerland in 2013, and Brazil also going past their own mark of 11-3 against Egypt, which they achieved only 2 days ago, and 11-1 against the UAE 12 months ago. So successive hammerings for the UAE here in the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup at the hands of Brazil. And unfortunately, from their perspective, you fear that there's more to come. Still 7.5 minutes to go. 15 goals in the match. That's not the most goals we've ever had in a single match in this tournament. In 2013, the semi-final I mentioned already, Russia 11, Switzerland 10. And we've had 2 games which have involved 16 goals. Switzerland 9, Morocco 7 in 2013 also. And Russia 10, Egypt 6, that was last year. And this 15-goal effort joins 2 other 15-goalers. The UAE beating Nigeria 8-7 in a 3rd and 4th place playoff in 2012, and the UAE beating Switzerland 8-7 in a 3rd and 4th place playoff in 2013. And of course, as I mentioned already, we're not even halfway through this 3rd and final period, so goodness knows how many more goals we're going to get. If Brazil want to score more, you rather fancy they can. Oh dear, given away by Ali Mohammed, and he gets away with that. Lucas not able to take advantage. Well, Fernando Dede is fouled there. That has to be a booking. Indeed it is. Ali Mohammed goes in the referee's notebook for something more akin to a rugby tackle, you would say. Mohammed and Walid Mohammadi both booked. Maurizio has been booked for Brazil. There's confirmation of that booking. 3 players then in the referee's notebook in this match. It's not been a bad-tempered match by and large. There's been the odd flashpoint. Just inside the Brazil half then, Fernando Dede. Right-footed but off target. Oh yes, that's a tremendous overhead. Breathtaking, no real reaction from the bench. But in a normal circumstances, that goal would have everyone jumping up and down. The man who scored it is Ahmed Bashir. A second for him. What a strike. Still, the goal fest continues. Oh, is that in? Yes, it is. Lucas, a hat-trick for him. I thought for a moment it had actually gone round the back of the goal. But no, it is in. So, from the restart, Brazil reassert their authority. 13 for them now. 2011. Oh yes, another one. And it's that man Lucas again. 4 for him.
14.
Goodness me. Where will it end? Outstanding, wonderful scissor kick. The quality of the goals that we're seeing this evening is breathtaking. More of an overhead than a scissor kick, you'd say, in the end.
You gotta stand up and dance. Come on, people.
But poor old Mohamed Al Jazmi.
Really dancing good, we might as well give you some special prize. Okay, coming up.
Incidentally, the hat-trick by Lucas here, the 10th for Brazil in the history of this tournament. That draws them level with Russia.
And also, don't forget,
Russia have also had 10 hat-tricks.
We got 2 more games remaining. 2 more fun games.
And it's the 17th instance of a player scoring 4 or more goals in a game in the history of this tournament. Mohamed Al Jazmi, well, he talked a good game ahead of the Huawei Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup, but unfortunately his words are looking rather hollow at the moment, although in all fairness to him, I think there's a few sides that suffer at the hands of this Brazilian outfit.
It's going to be a very loud game coming up.
Yes, another one. Boquina made it, and Bruno Xavier converted it. 15. And Bruno Xavier moves ever closer towards Dejan Stankovic's mark. A hat-trick for Bruno Xavier then. So what that means as well is that Brazil now hold the record for the most hat-tricks, the most individual hat-tricks by players from one country. That's 11 now for Brazil, going ahead of Russia. And Bruno Xavier, that's 5 hat-tricks for him now in the history of this tournament. Only one man has got more hat-tricks, Dejan Stankovic, who's the only man ahead of him in the goal-scoring chart. Stankovic with 6 hat-tricks in the history of the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. So 3 for Bruno Xavier now. In 2017 in this Huawei of the Beach Soccer Intercontinental Cup. 41 was in 2013. So you'd say it's absolutely certain with one match to come that we're going to go past that. Here we go then, the last couple of seconds of the match. And we're going to have one last free kick. So is this going to put a tin lid on things for Brazil? Rodrigo over the top from him, but it doesn't really matter, does it? What we've seen has been absolutely exceptional from Brazil today. The applause, and they're well worth the applause, aren't they? Absolutely sensational stuff from Brazil. They've scored 15 goals, the most by any team in the history of this competition in one single match. 4 goals for Lucas, 3 for Bruno Xavier, Rodrigo with a couple, Lucas with a break.